but I'll take a few questions. Chad.
Good morning. Thank you. You obviously don't think that the president needs an authorization from Congress for war. But do you think if this goes south after a while, and Democrats are going to have a vote tomorrow in the House, by the engineer war powers vote tomorrow in the House, that could be a problem for Republicans this fall if there is public sentiment against the war down the road?
Look, we don't make political decisions at a time like this. We're making decisions that are necessary to keep American citizens and troops safe. That is the first responsibility. Unlike the Democrats, we don't sit around in a back room and decide what's politically expedient. We do what we must do to protect the homeland, and we let the chips fall where they may. To protect our interests, to protect America First priorities and principles, and that's the people of this great country. And so I trust the American people. I trust that they will evaluate all these things and they will understand that this administration did the right thing. I think they'll reward it politically, but if people get a bad taste in their mouth for what happened back here in the first part of the year in Iran, they just do. But we know, and history will record, we did the right thing. I think passage of a war powers resolution right now would be a terrible, dangerous idea for all the reasons I've just explained. It would empower our enemies, it would kneecap our own forces, and it would take the ability of the U.S. military and the commander-in-chief away from completing this critical mission to keep everybody safe. Iran has attacked 3 of our U.S. embassies in the last couple of days. Okay, those are sovereign territories of the U.S. They have declared war on us. I don't believe in the semantics. We've talked about the language this morning. We're not at war right now. We're 4 days in to a very specific, clear mission, an operation, Operation Epic Fury, which has 2 components, as you know, that we have articulated over and over. The president has, the Commander of the Joint Chiefs, everybody has explained. 2 points. We had to take care of these ballistic missiles that they were producing at such a rapid pace that our regional allies could not keep up with. We had to ensure that they can't fire all those barrage of missiles at our people, our troops, our assets, our citizens in the region, and our installations. We're taking that out. We had to. It's a defensive operation. And secondly, we had to take their Navy down. That's effectively what, in layman's terms, that's what's happening right now. That will be done quickly. As I explained this morning, we're, I think, hours away probably from having full operational control over the skies over Iran, which means that this mission can be completed quickly. We expect that it will be. And then we will hope and pray that the Iranian people take this moment of opportunity, rise up, take their country back, and that freedom can flourish there for the first time in generations. Yes.
Thank you so much. Some of your members, as you know, Congressman Davidson included, oppose this Iran operation, which the president himself has called a war. Are you confident that you have the votes to defeat the war powers resolution tomorrow? Yes,
and I had a discussion with Congressman Davidson this morning. He's a dear friend and brother of mine, and we, iron sharpens iron. We disagree on issues, and we have those discussions. He and I have done this a lot. He said this morning in front of all their House Republicans, he's not yet sure how he's going to vote on the war powers resolution. I believe we have the votes to put this down, and I certainly pray that's true. Because, for what all the reasons I said, it would put the country in serious harm, and it would certainly jeopardize the lives of our troops and all those who were involved in making these great sacrifices to defend us. We have to put this down.
You said on Monday, talking about the start of this war, you said that Israel was determined to act in their own defense here, with or without American support. You also said that Israel fired upon Iran, they have immediately retaliated against us, personnel and assets. But the president said yesterday that it was him, it was the United States that might have forced Israel's hand. So why are you and the president not on the same page?
We're on the same page. I'm not at liberty to say publicly much of the classified information that I get in all these briefings, and that's always the delicate part of this, because if we say too much, then it reveals methods and sources, and it eliminates the ability of our extraordinary military and intelligence community to do what they do. The president has explained his analysis and his thought. Obviously, Israel is a close ally. They're in close communication. But everything I've said and everything he said is all true. They're not inconsistent in any way. Israel saw Iran as an existential threat. We should have seen them as well. But they were they were literally a neighbor. So if Iran said publicly, they all told us why, okay? If they had the ability, they would wipe Israel off the face of the earth. That is why they were trying to enrich uranium. And even though we took out the nuclear facilities several months ago, they were still working on their nuclear ambition, even through the negotiations, as I said, and they were producing missiles at such a rapid pace that they were building up an arsenal that would have done untold damage to Israel and other neighbors there, right there in the Middle East. So Israel saw that as an existential threat. Bibi Netanyahu's explained all this publicly. He's stating the obvious. Everybody knew that. They saw a moment of opportunity. They had to act in their own survival, and we knew and understood, and this has been explained by the Secretary of State, the President, myself, and everybody else. The unclassified part is that if this kinetic activity began, then Iran was determined to hit us, our personnel, our assets, and all that. If the commander-in-chief and his administration and our officials waited for all those casualties to be exacted, they would have been drug up here and put through an inquest like you've never seen before, because the Democrats would have had a field day and said, if you had all that exquisite intelligence, why didn't you protect us? So it's a no-win situation for them. And that's what the president and everyone has tried to explain. There are different ways to explain it. It's all the same truth. None of that has changed. It's entirely consistent. Last one. Yes, sir. Last, back row.
President Trump said this is expected to be a 4 to 5 week campaign, but that he opened the door for potentially longer than that. We heard several of your members yesterday coming out of the briefing. Some said they support the engagement now, but that that may change if this ends up being something that drags out. If we're sitting here 8 weeks, 10 weeks down the road, and this is still happening, would your position, at least on a war powers resolution, change?
But look, I'm not going to get into hypotheticals. What we need to do right now is stand together as a country. We need to stand with our brave servicemen and women who are in harm's way, stand with the president on this critical mission to keep us safe, and we will do that. Congress will do its job. We will perform our oversight responsibilities, but the first duty, as I said earlier, is to keep the country safe, and that's what we're focused on right now. Thank you so much.
Supplemental funding. Has the Pentagon asked for supplemental funding